everybody. Um, I will take full responsibility for us not being on air all week. It's my fault. Um, Monday,
Well,
Monday I was moving, and then Wednesday I almost died. So I couldn't, I couldn't be on. Um, and we didn't want to do another show without doing this one first. So I take it's on me. Um, so just so you know, uh,
I will
but I
say
didn't
this:
I didn't die, so that's a good thing.
the break was good. I think we kind of needed a couple of days,
Couple
Mhm.
days.
kind of balance out,
Yeah.
decompress. But now we're back.
I'm feeling okay. I'm hurting today. I'm hurting today, but I took care of some stuff, so I'll be okay. Um,
Yeah.
But we got a couple of things to get into. The main one, of course, is our topic today. Um, but I gave my 2 cents this morning already on both sides about the debacle or the debacle, as Candace would say, or the debacle, however she wants to pronounce it nowadays, with the Obama and um, Trump thing on Truth Social and the posting of the video. And I had thought initially that it was a screen recording thing that clipped into that part and all that stuff. But I will say this: if it was intentional by him in order to just put that part in him, he wrong for that. But if it wasn't intentional, I can't find no fault with it. However, I don't know, and we're waiting to find out. But if I was him, I'd say something. That's my 2 cents. What do you guys think about that before we get into the main topic? Anyway,
I don't care about it
okay.
at this point. Like, who cares? For all intent and purposes, white liberals enjoyed it, and this is just them virtue signaling about it. I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah, for me, things like that aren't a big deal. And this is just something to take our eyes off of what's going on. I think these liberals honed in on that because they understand that a lot of their people are going to be on this list. So they had to find another shiny object, like we say, oh, here's a new freaking target. We'll focus on this to take our eyes off of this. Right. No, we don't care about them calling Obama a monkey. We have called him a monkey on this podcast. We call them all monkeys. That's Jay's favorite word, monkeys.
Bonobos. So just so you know, we'll probably end up doing a show about it eventually. But by then, we'll probably have some words by him or the White House. I keep seeing that they said something, but it's always some news reporter saying that they heard somebody say something about it, and I haven't heard Levitt or Trump himself make any post about it. So I think this is what I think now. They're probably trying to find the person who put it up, why they didn't vet it, and deal with it first before they come out. That's just what I'm thinking. So we'll figure it out here soon.
Baron, if you did it, you're getting a whipping. Baron.
Getting a whipping. However, before we get into the topic of the day, I wanna tell y'all that if you hear any barking or anything, my dog is in the room with me, so he don't like being confined, but he gotta stay in here. Okay. There. So I just wanted to say I'm not stopping him from barking too much, but if you do, don't blame him. It's my fault I haven't been here. Let's answer this question, folks, first.
Oh.
Why do you gentlemen think they haven't made any arrests? Well, in what regard? Arrests in what area? For government, like senators and Congress people? What do you mean by arrest? Because it's not as easy as people might think to just go and arrest somebody, especially when they're in government.
Right.
So, yeah, I just want to know what. No, I won't pull a Hassan. I won't pull a. You can't pull one on a pit bull neither. You try doing that, the pit bull gonna pull a Hassan on you.
Yeah.
They bite back. No, don't do that. Don't do that. So if you can tell me what arrest you're thinking and in what regard, like I get the files and stuff that's being released for the Epstein thing, but people have to understand all of the grand jury information is not what's been released. This is just evidentiary stuff, but the grand jury stuff, the courts still haven't okayed the release stuff. Okay. Actual witness testimony to do with the case, those have not been released. Reports are still saying no. So what we're going to talk about is where Trump was mentioned in the most egregious manners, and then we'll go from there. Okay. Um, Now, what you're going to see is highlights of the spots that has been floating around the interweb, and this is one of them. Um, in the um, top here, there are some names redacted, um, but these are calls that came in around to the FBI as what they call hotlines
Mm-hmm.
to give testimony or something like that, or give their information about the case about Epstein, but it wasn't verified. None of them were vetted. They were just put in record as people calling in to give this information. Ironically, they all came in at or around the time of election cycles.
Huh. Fancy that.
Yeah. The first wave came in 2015, late 15 and mid 16, and then another wave came in 2020. All of them, a bunch of flooding in the hotlines of people complaining that Trump was involved in Epstein at this point, this point, this point, and that point. So I just want to make sure we say that first. So this says, complainant reported his ex-girlfriends, whatever, were victims of Epstein, and one was murdered. While working as a limousine driver, complainant recalled picking up Donald Trump in 1995 to take him to Dallas-Fort Worth Airport. During that ride, complainant recalls some of the things Trump spoke about on his cell phone were very concerning and described a few seconds of pulling the limousine over on the median, and within a few seconds of pulling him out of the car and hurting him to some of the things he was saying. Complainant noted that Trump repeatedly stated the name Jeffrey while on the phone. One of the complainant's girlfriends told complainant Trump raped her, as did Epstein. Now, I want you all to try and make this one make sense as him being listed of doing something, okay? And I'm going to put you in the driver's seat. It's 1995. Mm-hmm. You pick up Donald Trump, and you recall him saying stuff, and he pulls the limousine over to hurt you because of what you were hearing, but you never go to the cops. 1995. I just want to make that make sense. If you wait till 2016 to complain.
It doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. At all, doesn't make any sense.
And this call on this tip line or whatever was done in 2016.
Yes.
Okay. How easy would it be? Marlon, you're running for president.
Mm-hmm.
I go, man, I don't like Marlon. He's not one of us. I don't want him running for president.
Mm-hmm.
I want you, and you to call a tip line and leave an anonymous tip saying this about Donald Trump so that it's recorded.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. You think that would be hard to do?
Not hard. I would think, though, it would be efficient for you to verify the thing if you got it, or if you have information, you can say it. Okay, good for us. I don't think any of us says that we love Donald Trump, but
and Jeffrey Knox, even if we did say that, what are you going to do about it? Are you just going to get on here and leave stupid comments? You're not going to do anything about it. You're just going to get on here, kick and scream on a podcast that you don't own, and we don't care what you say. So unless you're going to do something, fist up, gun up, or shut up. Those are 3 options.
Y'all are weird. You don't. So how long have we been live? We've been live 10 minutes. 10. Okay. Yeah. You don't wait to hear the take. You don't wait to hear any information. You just chime in. That tells me a lot about you. I'll give you that much. You have definitely told us a lot about you, that you have 2 ears that don't work,
a brain that barely functions,
and a brain that barely functions. So, hey, at least you're honest about it. That's good to know.
And you're a coward.
Yeah.
So let's see what the second one here is. Caller is taking or talking about crimes committed against her. She claims to be a prisoner. She references Lisa Marie Presley, the British royal family, President Trump, and Jeffrey Epstein. Again, these are just claims. They're not substantiated by any court documentation of him doing anything. Here's a good one. Complainant reported her neighbor sought modeling gigs at the Trump modeling agency in New York between the years of 1998 and 2000. Complainant reported neighbor allegedly went on cruises set up by a recruiter or head of the agency and once showed complainant a photo of the recruiter whom complainant called looked like Epstein. Complainant reported neighbor was allegedly raped several times during this period. I want y'all to know this is what they're running with. This is the proof. This is just proof. They're telling you this is proof that Trump is a pedo and a rapist. This is the proof. I'm just presenting it to you. This is the documentation. Okay, that's all we're doing. Caller provided information to reference prior civil case from 13 years ago that involved Trump and mentioned Epstein with a minor. Okay. Complainant follow up a call with NYPD officer regarding her previous reporting that she was forced to perform acts when she was 13 years old and pregnant in 1984. Complainant also reported that there were high-profile individuals involved in her trafficking and the murder and disposal of her newborn daughter. Complainant reported Donald Trump participated regularly in paying money to force her to perform said acts with him and alleged Trump was present with her uncle murdered her newborn child. Now, y'all might wonder how exactly Trump was mentioned 38,000 times. That would be why. In one statement, they would say his name 4 or 5. I'm just waiting for the proof that they say they have.
So let me get this straight. In one sentence on a tip line, I can just say Trump said this, and I saw Trump and Bergdorf and Trump and Trump and Trump and Trump and Trump and Trump, and that counts as part of the report. And
yes.
And if I'm a low IQ monkey liberal like Jeffrey Knox is, I'll use that as a credible source as to why he's a pedo.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Oh, it gets better, guys. This is good stuff. I mean, this is the proof. This is the bombshell stuff. Okay. Call was taken by a boat to Epstein's Island. Caller said it was complicated and involved Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. Caller became a school counselor and had a meeting with a school principal, Linda Kitts, and a police officer where the caller was informed that there are pictures of herself with Epstein. Caller reported the school was mad at her for not being a Trump person and that the school wanted her to testify and say things against Andrew Cuomo. The FBI and Donald Trump were on the phone during the meeting.
Oh, boy.
Come on, man. Bro, come on, man. Bro.
Hold on. Where's the part about the Trump supporter?
Okay, so apparently she went with Jeffrey somewhere to an island, and she eventually became a school counselor. I don't know how that jump happened. You just talked to me. You were on Epstein Island. That's all you say, and then you jump forward in time. I'm now a school counselor, and the school didn't like me because I wasn't a Trump supporter. What?
Okay, so the school didn't like her because she wasn't a Trump supporter, and this came out when?
this particular one, I don't know when that one popped out.
Was it before 2016? Because when did the term Trump supporter even exist?
I don't, man. Look, I don't. If Andrew Cuomo was involved in it, then it would have been the 2016 election. This would have been before the 2016 election because Cuomo was a big deal back then.
So before the 2016 election, she said this happened, but the term Trump supporter didn't even exist.
No.
Before this.
Right. No, a Trump person. I don't even know what that means.
What's it?
But my favorite part is the FBI and Donald Trump were on the phone during the meeting.
How did she?
Now, mind you, with the school, whatever school she's at, the school has Donald Trump on the phone with the FBI talking to her about not supporting Trump. Because Epstein Island years ago. Then caller believes the FBI had baby pictures of her with Epstein. How you going to, okay, you just told us you remember being taken on a boat to Epstein Island. But now the FBI got baby pictures of you with Epstein? I don't know. Look. I'm just this is the proof. I'm just telling you. This is what they're running with. Okay. Here we go. Caller reported that in 1987, a friend, victim number 1, was out drinking and ended up at Trump Plaza. Victim 1 saw Donald Trump and wanted to meet him. An unknown man approached her and offered to introduce her to Trump. The unknown man gave victim 1 a drink, and victim 1 woke up naked and sore with $300 on the bed. Victim 1 didn't remember how she got to the room. She remembered seeing a flash of Trump's face. Victim 1 called the caller and told her that she thought she had been raped. Victim 1 did not go to the hospital to have a rape kit performed because she didn't think anyone would believe her, especially because she was drunk. But you just said you don't know who did it. In your own statement, you said you don't know who did it. So you couldn't have said nobody could believe you because you don't have an idea who did it. All you had to do was say, somebody raped me, do a rape kit, and they'll do the rest of finding who it was that did it. What is, bruh? Anyway, so let me see here. Okay, so victim 1 didn't go to the hospital, blah, 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 because she was drunk. Victim 1's husband's business had problems with suppliers, and victim 1 believed Trump was behind.
Oh my gosh! Now they're just grasping for straws. Like,
So wait, Trump was behind something to do with your husband, but you've never met Trump, and your husband hasn't either. You don't know him, but all of a sudden now your husband's business has been sabotaged by somebody he don't know. Okay. Victim 1 also stated started dating a lawyer, identifier unknown, who was married. Victim 1 had a fight with her lawyer boyfriend and went to a bar, so she was cheating on her husband with this lawyer. Okay, hey, each his own. Victim 1 left a bar with a man who no one recognized at the bar, but seemed familiar with Victim 1. Victim 1 was never seen again. A few years ago, remains were discovered that matched the description of what Victim 1 was wearing when she went missing. DNA tests at the time were inconclusive. So none of this is provable at all. It is what you're saying. Entirety of where Donald Trump was mentioned over 30 times, not proven. But this is what people are saying he definitely did. He's all over the files. All right, page 2. Somebody reported an unidentified female friend who was forced to perform oral sex on President Trump.
Hold on. What year was this?
That I don't know.
President
I'm just
Trump-
asking,
wait,
when was he president at the time?
exactly.
Hold on, 35 years ago in New Jersey.
He wasn't president at the
Hold on. So Trump is what, 80 now, 79, something like that.
79.
Something like that.
Okay, so if he's 80, let's say he's 80.
Mhm.
35 years ago would make him what now?
50 something. Make him 50.
Yep.
Bruh. Anyway, the friend told Alexis that she was approximately 13 or 14 years old when this occurred, and the friend allegedly bit Donald Trump while performing said act. The friend was allegedly hit in the face after she laughed about biting the president. The friend said she was also abused by Epstein.
It's still throwing me off that they said President Trump.
Look, they're reporting it now when he was president, I guess. I don't know, man. Here's another one. Go ahead.
But if this is direct testimony or whatever, direct from the victim,
right?
He would have just been Trump or Donald Trump, not president.
President Trump, right? Right.
That's now. That's what make no sense.
Anyway, somebody reported she had a friend who was a personal assistant to Epstein in Florida. It's always hearsay of somebody third party. You notice that? In Florida from 86 to 91 or 92, this friend shared names of some of the guests at Epstein's parties, to include Bill Clinton and Donald Trump. But you could have seen that on the news, because that was about the time that there were all kinds of pictures of Donald Trump and Epstein.
Right.
Like that was normal out in public. He didn't hide from that. It wasn't until 96 that he stopped him from coming to Mar-a-Lago. I don't understand it. Anyway, here's another good one. At age 16, while modeling, caller attended 8 parties at Epstein's New York residence. One of those occasions, caller reported that she was sexually assaulted by Epstein. On another occasion, 2 twin brothers, Alan and Orrin, lured caller and her friend upstairs, but they escaped back downstairs. Caller stated Orrin raped her best friend, and a third brother, Tal, raped a 14-year-old girl named Caller named the other individuals in big orgy parties with her, other young girls, and older Victoria's Secret models, including Bill Clinton and Donald Trump.
So, in that example, he wasn't necessarily implicated on doing anything to them. He was just
At the
there.
party. Yes.
But it was
They say
Orrin.
Now, again, mind you, she said she's 16 at these parties in New York. So this wasn't at a trafficking location. This was at his house in New York. Okay. My question is how you got there, but that's beside the point. And a 14 and a 13-year-old and all that stuff. I want to know how they got there. And you ran downstairs, but not away. Anyway, online complaint reported she was a victim and witness to a sex trafficking ring at the Trump golf course in Rancho Palos Verdes, California, 95 to 96. Complainant reported Ghislaine Maxwell as the madame and broker for the parties. Clients of whom included Epstein, Robin Leach, and Donald Trump. Complainant reported participating in these orgies and that some girls went missing, rumored to have been murdered and buried at the facility. Complainant reported being threatened by Trump's then head of security that if she ever talked of what went on there or who she saw, he would end up as fertilizer for the back 9 holes like the other C words. Okay, now all you have to do is go look at that location and dig up the spot now, since you had the audacity to call and find the bodies. That's all you have to do. Pretty easy to fix. Complainant claims to have video of high-profile sex parties, dealings with cartels, and having witnessed Robin Leach strangle a young girl to death at a party. Never saw that video, by the way. I mean, wait. Yeah. All right.
Hmm.
This is the this is the proof. Now hear me out. If let's say Donald Trump did do all that stuff, and we just don't have the proof of it, I would just like something a little bit more believable. Just hear me out. I would much rather have you tell me something that would be logistical, first of all, um, something that we can actually tangibly see that makes sense. Um, but the narrative that's being pushed here is just to mention his name in connection to Epstein as much as possible in order to create the illusion that he had something to do with Epstein. That's what it sounds like to me. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, and how do we know that they didn't just replace the name with Donald Trump? It could have been anyone else. For all we truly know, we don't know because we truly can't trust these people. So what if all those names are someone else and they just replace it and put Donald Trump's name in there? That makes no sense to me. None of that.
If you can simply say a person's name, well, I mean, they're already doing it, but if you can simply say a person's name and let that be the premise for your entire position that Trump is a pedo, I'm sorry, but you're pulling a Me Too, and I can't really jive with that.
Mm-hmm.
It don't make sense to me.
That's literally Me Too. That's literally anybody in the chat that's a woman can sit here and make an allegation against any three of us, any one of us, and that counts as evidence.
Mm-hmm. And say it often enough or make the situation seem egregious enough. It doesn't have to be believable, just really crazy off the wall.
Yeah.
And it would stick.
Yep.
I look again. Do I know? No. But I also have no proof to the contrary.
Right.
I'm sorry. I got no proof to the contrary. There are tons of things that I can say he could be. Okay, he could call people. I could look. I can even see Donald Trump using the N-word. I could.
Mm-hmm.
I just have no proof of him doing it.
Yeah.
And for the people watching, we've said it on this show many, many times. If we have proof, hard proof that Donald Trump did whatever these people are saying he's doing, we're not going to sit up here and protect that.
Yeah.
But we're not going to shame the guy for a bunch of mumbo jumbo that we just read. We're not going to sit up here and throw out that he's this pedophile.
Right.
Because there's no proof.
There is more proof of Joe being one than Trump.
Good point.
Yep.
That's the wild part to me, that there's far more there and no one wants to talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we also have a surprise for y'all. We have a guest speaker. No, I'm just kidding. We don't have a guest speaker. A interview.
What do you know?
An interview is surfacing and going and making its rounds right now of Mr. Epstein, and he's being interviewed by Mr. Bannon, Steve Bannon.
Oh.
And Steve sounds really enamored with him, which is wild to me. And it tells me one thing. I watched the interview, most of it, 80% of it. And I will tell you my take on Jeffrey. I do not for a minute believe that Jeffrey was unable to manage money. I know the theory is that he wasn't that big of a brain with money. Why would anybody recruit him and blah, blah, blah. It must be some other thing. He's being used as a front. I don't believe that. I listened to him talk, and I think the man does have he had some, maybe still alive. I don't know. He had brains enough to know the financial systems and the banking systems enough for people to want to use him. He was a forward thinker in the banking industry, but I do fully understand that he also had some disgusting, perverted behavior, which came along with money. And I 100% believe that the people that he bankrolled or helped to bankroll or helped financially used him also to get what he was getting, which was younger girls. And the money kept flowing as long as he could facilitate girls or boys, whatever their preference were. So I think it became a cascading effect. He helped with money. They financed his perversion. They participated in the perversion. He helped them figure out how to do with their money, what to do with their money. They would in turn give him money, and that's how he made his money. His money came from helping people hide money, do money, make money, and then they paid him money, and he indulged even more in his perversion, and he included them in it. I don't see how this is difficult. Perverts do that with each other all the damn time.
Right.
That's my take on him. I'm not negating his decisions to be a pervert. I 100% believe that he's a disgusting, worthless human being. Not saying anything but that. But to say somehow he was unintelligent and he was just used as a front, I'm calling bull on that one. Calling bull. I'm calling bull. Let's hear what this interview yields, huh? I have it at 1.5 speed, so if he sounds like he's speaking quicker, I apologize.
Into the deep stuff. Let's give some basics or some things I want to do inquire from the others. Walk me through the Santa Fe Institute. What was it about the time of the math? And this was in the late 90s. So they're not going to hear me on this part, right? Were they both ways?
It will not be on the video, but we do have it recorded.
Fine. Remember, when you're answering on these questions, I'm not in the shot, and they're never going to hear my voice. So a little bit, you got to repeat in your answer, you got to repeat what my question was.
Oh, right. Okay.
Santa Fe Institute. Why, when you're at the top of your game on Wall Street, do you decide to finance, which was at the time, or endow, or become the donor or sponsor, however you want to say it, for what was considered the most cutting edge group of mathematicians in the world? Action.
So Santa Fe Institute in the late 80s, early 90s, I was interested, I was on the board of Rockefeller. So that starts, Rockefeller, it's a university formed by John D. Rockefeller to sort of give back to the community, east side of Manhattan, except it was old. It was sort of old fashioned. They were talking about medicine, and medicine by itself was again subject to the ideas of science. They were trying to use science to find cures for disease. And I said, no, we need to do something different. We need to start interdisciplinary work. In most,
how did a schmuck like you get on the board of Rockefeller? What year was that?
I don't remember, right? I think 89 or 91.
So that's one of the most prestigious research places in the world, correct?
Listen to this.
Okay. How did a guy like you get on the board of Rock? A blue blood, internationally known, hard research, Nobel Prize winners all over the place. How did they pick a guy like you, a trader from, or basically some guy from Bear Stearns?
Good question. So I was asked to be on the board of Rockefeller, and I think I was on the board of Rockefeller. There was a money manager who said Rockefeller needs someone with financial expertise because the university is growing and there's lots of new things. You have to, again, we go back to the original discussion the last time. Up until the mid 80s or sort of early mid 70s, the most important thing was your name. If you were Rockefeller, you already were considered to be brilliant. If you were head of General Motors, it was your reputation. It was who you knew, who your family was, what was your character. And then in the mid 70s, so basically, if you remember, you probably had a calculator. It was very advanced in those days to have a Texas Instrument calculator where it could, by putting in the numbers, it would multiply for you to do square roots. And that was the first, and everyone who had a calculator was already advanced on Wall Street. A simple almost like your accountant. The most important parts of business were really now going to calculations. So it's not only mathematics, but it's things that could be calculated. Reputation couldn't be calculated. I could give you, are you a 10 on a reputation scale, an 8? What does it mean to have a measurement of your reputation? We'll get to that later. But places like Rockefeller needed someone to say, look, we are entering a different world where numbers and the numbers of companies, portfolio management was going to be balanced. It was going to be statistical. Jeffrey, could you come on the board? Potentially sit on the finance committee, Nancy Kissinger and a bunch of other people. And David Rockefeller and I got along very well. He was this unbelievable human being. Respectful to everyone. He introduced his driver as his colleague, not his driver. He would never say, this is my driver. He said, it's my colleague. And David started to explain to me world politics. So David would say, Jeffrey, money is going to be sort of the most important things. People don't understand money. You seem to have this knack for money. I said to David, tell me about your life. What was the worst and the best part of your life? So David said, when I grew up, everyone knew I was a Rockefeller. They didn't know that my father told me he would not leave me a dime, no money. But every time we went out to eat, me and my 5 friends in school, they would leave me the bill. They would expect me to pick up the check because I was a Rockefeller. And he said, I was chairman of Chase Bank. And he said, I remember like it was yesterday, one of the headlines in Time magazine said, David, please fire yourself. So he thought that there was a world that existed that would be a combination of both politics and business.
Right there. Now listen here. What he just told you was Rockefeller, the one he hooked up with, was not the rich one.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty big stinking deal to hold in mind, considering that you want to know how you got in touch with a Rockefeller. Well, not all the Rockefellers were created equal. The same way that not every rich person, there are some kids that are nothing like their fathers.
Yeah.
They got all kinds of money in the family, but the kid, ain't leaving no money with you. Now, suppose you are a Rockefeller. Your name, remember he just talked about the fact that your name, everybody knows that you pay more for a name than you do for the actual product.
Right.
Right? So he's not lying. I don't think he's lying there at all. I could believe that a Rockefeller got a hold of him who knew money and he didn't, and he could use his name and Jeffrey's brain to make money. How is that difficult to understand? Israel and none of these people have anything to do with it. I'm sure that they probably got some girls or something from there, but that was long after he made all his money.
Right.
You use the name to get the influence, and you use the brain to make the money work for you. So if I say, okay, I have a partner, his name is Rockefeller, and he wants you to invest in blah, blah, blah. You think I'm going to fight you on investing? Your name is Rockefeller? Oh, bet. I'm going to put 10 million to that because it's a Rockefeller name. They don't have to have the financial backing, just the name. Now, Jeffrey can take that money and quintuple it. And now the Rockefeller looks like they know what they're talking about and doing.
Mm-hmm.
And suppose that Rockefeller likes little children, and so does Jeffrey. Now they can use that money to indulge in their disgusting behavior, and the cycle begins. How is this difficult for people to get? I mean, it makes sense to me. What do you guys think?
I mean, you're right. And when it comes to buying influence, like you said, with the Rockefeller name, these people know nothing about money, know nothing about politics. And then these guys link up with a guy like Jeffrey Epstein, uses a name to gain influence, to gain money. And then they start transferring over into politics. And then, they control the rest of the world, not knowing anything because it's just based off their name and the influence that they've gotten from and money from a person like Jeffrey Epstein. Very interesting.
Had to let the cat out. Yeah. To me, it makes a lot of sense. Mm-hmm. Again, this is not a podcast to defend Jeffrey. This is a podcast to show you that the birth of Jeffrey Epstein was not from some governmental agency. The government eventually more than likely took part in it because they saw a way for them to manipulate world leaders by having blackmail on, which is why I believe they never let the names free.
Makes sense.
Which is why I think in 2006, when he got that sweetheart deal, they agreed to that deal because there were people on that client list that they did not want coming out. The same reason I think that they didn't want people talking too heavily about Diddy, because I think the list out there would also implicate some people, which is why Comey's daughter was involved in it.
Mm-hmm.
It is all making sense to me as far as I can see. The logic behind it is that influence and money will always have a seat at the table.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. So let him continue here.
And leadership. What do I mean? He formed something called the Trilateral Commission. The Trilateral Commission is some spooky stuff. People said it was some of the people that the Illuminati, there's some mystery about it, people that ran the world. It was politicians, but David said most countries, the politicians get elected for 4 years or 8 years, separate from the royal families in England or in the Middle East. Someone's there for 4 years and then they're not there anymore. The most important people to have stability and consistency would be businessmen. So he formed this Trilateral Commission of businessmen and politicians from 3 major continents. So it was the North Americans, the Europeans, and the Asians. So he said to me, would you like to be on the Trilateral Commission? Now, I was 32 years old. I said, great. And he said, well, you have to fill out this application so they have your bio. And I looked at the list of people, and it was Bill Clinton, former president of the United States, Paul Volcker, every great leader in America, the Asians, the Japanese, and with a very long description of their history. And they asked me to fill in what I would like to have written. And I wrote Jeffrey Epstein, comma, just a good kid, which I thought was funny. Nobody else did.
So yeah, he is full of himself. That's obvious. You got to be fully yourself in order to have the kind of mindset that he did. To think that you can get away with the things. But then again, did he get away with it? Yeah. He got away with it. So is he really stupid for thinking that, or did it proven out that he had a reason for doing that? Now, the Trilateral Commission was indeed started by David Rockefeller in 1973. And it included Japan, Western Europe, and North America. It focused on addressing global political and economic challenges through dialogue among influential leaders in various sectors. Now, hear me out. If you have a man that can make money move, and you have the ear, because of your last name, of 3 of the largest groups of people on earth, and you can make all things work in your benefit, including your perverted side, your financial side, and your influential side, why wouldn't you do it? Why wouldn't you? And you would protect him at all costs because you're making money.
Yeah.
And you're getting your groove on the way you want. So of course you're going to protect Jeffrey, because Jeffrey was the one that was helping you keep your money going when you couldn't. But Jeffrey also had a different kind of influence where Rockefeller didn't, which was the influence of children. He can facilitate, which is why Ghislaine Maxwell was the procurer of it. He could pay her handsomely for what she was doing, and she was the one that would be the interim between everybody else. It's why he was able to get people like Prince Andrew in the corner. The Trilateral Commission made it easy for him. He had access to them. Now that you have access to Jeffrey and you have a perversion, it was to me, it seems like the perfect crime.
Very much so.
Perfect syndicate. So no, I don't think you needed Israel for this. But we talked about this about a year and a half, 2 years ago, where we talked about the trafficking between Israel and Ukraine.
Yeah.
Yep.
And,
sure did.
Y'all hated us for that too, which is why we don't listen to half of the people that come here with nonsense. We don't listen to you because we do our own research. We don't need you to tell us this. But there is a mad trafficking line between Israel and Ukraine. There is a reason why certain things don't get talked about when it came to Ukraine. Ukraine has mad influence over the trafficking arena. Why do you think they went to bat for them? Why do you think that is? So don't hand me this nonsense. The same thing, the trafficking that was coming out of Israel, where do you think the route ran? Right through Gaza. You think Hamas wasn't participating in that too? They just got mad because they weren't getting their cut.
You were probably prime customer number 1.
Yep.
Y'all are idiots if you think that somehow this was about just about genocide. Yeah, the religious aspect has a hand in it, but more so that they were warring people trying to figure out who gets the cut of the most kids.
Yeah.
Everybody told we're free bats and river to. Shut up. You don't even know the layout of the land. Talking about from the river to the sea.
Yeah, point to it on a map.
Dummies.
Oh.
And good point here too. It is exactly the reason. Okay, if you have and
Hey.
it was, I think it was, that was part of the reason that his what was that guy that was friends with, that was on the board of Burisma that came out to talk about him?
His buddy,
Yeah, his partner.
Yeah, the sleaze bag.
That he was buying influence. That was the whole reason, was to purchase influence. The Biden name was a way to get influence into Burisma and to get all of the things they needed money-wise out of Ukraine. Y'all feel his influence thing is just the last bit of just because of it's more than that. You use it to get something.
Right.
That's why you're going to use it to get somewhere.
Like literally the ultimate form of clout chasing.
Precisely.
And one way to get what you want
That time,
is through blackmail. So Epstein could set up all this stuff with all these kids and all this weird stuff they do, get these world leaders to come over, join the party, dope them up, do whatever. Next thing you know, got you. I'm in charge now.
And one of them step out of line. Look at what happened to Prince Andrew.
Yep,
You step out of line and you say too much, you get cut off.
Yeah.
that's right.
The Queen cut him off. You don't think the Queen knew? Man, come on. The Queen has been, her whole family has been involved in trafficking people from India to Africa to the Caribbean.
Yep.
If you don't understand that by now, you are stupid beyond help. The Crown has been number one in trafficking from the conception.
Right.
They've been going to countries from since they began in trafficking people to and fro across these places. Go ask India how that worked out for them when they took over there. Go ask Africa when they started. Go ask the Caribbean how exactly that went when the Crown took over.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they trafficked everybody. That was normal. Tell me the Queen didn't know about it. Man, shut up. The Queen knew all about this.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, sure did.
Come on.
I recognize around the world that monies and currencies were not really well understood. But again, it was only numbers. So numbers, and I'll get to the fact that it was bad thinking. It's numbers are very good.
Are most people that you meet, even on Trilateral Commission, when you meet most people, do you find most leaders financially illiterate, economically illiterate?
Most political leaders don't come out of a background of finance. Most political leaders come out of a background of being popular.
Facts. I don't know how. Look, okay, all right. Y'all tell me. Name one outside of Goldwater and Ross Perot. Name me any other that came out of financial backings. Any. Bet you can't. I bet you can't tell me any leader that really came out of understanding money, not coming from money, understanding money, and became a politician, versus the other way around where they became a politician and came into money. What's the difference between Trump and the rest of them? He came with money and an understanding of finances.
You named the one person I was going to name, Ross Perot.
Yeah.
It's the only one I can think of that came from money into politics.
That to me is crazy. And the mere fact that you look at someone like Trump, right, who understood money, which I think is partially why they couldn't use him. He didn't have anything to gain from them.
Right.
He had the popularity and he had financials. He didn't need any one of those people to do it for him. He was doing it himself.
That's right.
He made his money and he made himself popular. In the 80s and 90s, Trump was the one white dude that every rapper wanted to be.
Oh yeah. Easily.
Popular. Everything was about Trump. Movies, you name it. So he didn't have to try and find influence. And he also didn't have to try and find money. So he did not need Epstein and he didn't need those people to get him somewhere. He was already there.
Right.
Which is why he couldn't be bought. This is why they didn't like him in 16, because they couldn't purchase him. So what did they have to do? Manufacture the purchasing.
Right.
Why do you think it can't stick? Okay, just saying.
So it's, in some of the countries, in some of the African countries, for example, they might have been a military person. They were a general. In some of the African countries, they might have been a disc jockey. Or in our country, they would have been an actor. The knowledge of money isn't, they don't have expertise. They have no degrees in finance. They really, and this is one of the major problems. Their expertise, if they have any financial knowledge, is of their own checking account or bank account and filling in their own taxes. So many world leaders who don't really have a financial underpinning make fundamental errors when it comes to money on a country or institutional level. Let me give you an example. If you, Mr. Bannon, if I said your assets increased last year, you'd say, that sounds pretty good. And I said, what does that mean to you? You'd say, well, I have more money. I guess I'm wealthier. You'd say yes. And if your debt increased, would you feel wealthier or poorer? You say, well, I don't want to have increased debt. I don't like the idea of that sound, increased debt. Now, that and world leaders understand when their assets go up, they feel better. However, institutions like banks, things that people don't really understand are financial underpinnings of banks. When I say your bank, Mr. Bannon, you have the Bannon Bank, you doubled your assets. Sounds good, but what does it really mean? It means people owe you more money. You don't have any more money. What? Yeah. A bank's assets are how much it is owed by other people. That's crazy. So if the bank goes from $2 billion of assets to 10 billion, it means people owe it an additional $8 billion, but their assets have gone up. So the terminology of assets and liabilities is different for banks. It's not natural. And what most people, and you ask questions about world leaders, there's many people, I think your old boss Mercer understood, there's a fundamental part of money, which is called fractionalized banking. And fractionalized banking is something that finance people understand, and the people on the street, and when I say people on the street, that's where I was when I started on Wall Street, would find it impossible to believe. Impossible. Why? Bank, I give you $1, just one single dollar.
Listen to this.
In our system of banking, I would say, okay, Steve, I gave you $1. How much can you lend out to your friends? And your natural reaction would be probably something less than $1 because I want to keep something in my pocket. The way our system works is if you as a bank are holding my dollar, you can lend out an additional $8 or $9. No, it's impossible. I only have $1, Jeffrey. We have something called fractionalized reserves, which is if you have 1, you can lend out 9. That's the way our system works. And so not only do world leaders not understand banking, but the man on the street, my father who worked in the park department, it would be beyond his imagination that people could lend out more money than they actually had in their pocket.
Hence why you can see banks crash. So don't tell me the man is an idiot and that he's purchased by Israel to be this kind of guy. And he was just a front because he's a perv. The dude did understand money.
Yeah.
If you read the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad, or you even listen to, what's his name, Dave Ramsey, the system depends on debt.
Yeah.
Your own credit score is based on how you manage debt, not how you get out of it. If you have no debt, you have bad credit. If you have managed debt, you have good credit. Do you understand how stupid that sounds? But it's true. So you're telling me if I pay off all my debt, I have worse credit? Yes. Because the system isn't banking on you being good with your damn money. It's banking on you being bad with your money, but only slightly bad. Jeffrey was not a stupid individual, which is why he could operate the way he did and make what he could make, be as rich as he was, because he had influence on his side, he had reach on his side, and he also knew how to manipulate these people's money.
Yeah, that part.
If y'all don't get that, then you don't understand how things were working. And you still don't understand how things are working. Look at it this way. And I'm going to ask y'all this question to you too. What manipulative tactics can they use on Trump with his money?
Nothing.
Nothing. This is why they have to go after something else. He is a mastermind with cash. He knows the loopholes. He told you about it too when they questioned him with Hillary Clinton, and he used the loopholes with his tax. Like, it's there. Why the hell wouldn't I use it? You wanted to change? Tell her to change it. Don't look at me. He told you all this. He understood things about money that nobody else did. Why do you think Biden couldn't figure it out? Why do you think that retard Kamala couldn't figure it out? They don't know money. They want it. They love money, but they have no concept of how to do it or what to make it work, which is why they would be dependent and beholden to people like Epstein.
Right.
Bill Clinton would be beholden to people like Epstein, which is why their money can go from 0 to 2 billion in 4 years when they join government.
Yeah.
People like Epstein. So y'all might get mad at all you want, but the truth of the matter is this. Epstein had a brain about him that people have influence saw that they didn't have. They had the money, he had the brain. You mix those two, and both people become very, very important to each other. Now you mix perversion in there, and Jeffrey has an affinity for kids, and the people he encounters, 1 or 2, maybe 5, 10 of them have the same thing. Tell you what, I know a girl who can get us the things we want, but it'll take money. Now, I know how to manage your money, right? Yeah. Okay. So here's what we'll do. We'll set up a reserve, and you just put your money in there. I deal with what I got, and I will find a way to hide your money so that nobody thinks you're trafficking kids. And if I ever get found, you know how to handle my case.
Mhm.
You see how this works? You want to know why you'll never get to the bottom of it? That's why. That's why. This is a big deal, but people they're not ready for this answer.
Mm-mm.
They're not ready for this answer because it's too much. It's too much. Money makes the world go round, and the people that do have money aren't looking to try and make it. They're just keeping it.
Well, it's not just that, but how can they run their own initial positions back when they've run on it for so long that Trump and Epstein were in cahoots with each other, and yet when you come to this, and as well as all that other evidence that we read, how are you able to run it back without looking like a fool?
Right.
You can't.
Yeah, and to your point, Marlon, it's crazy because they will get out here and talk about how Trump and Epstein were buddies. But as you stated earlier, Trump knew everything Epstein knew about money. So there was no need for him to even be around the guy. He didn't want to be around a pervert, but he didn't need him on the money aspect either because Trump already knew how to make all of that. He knew how to manage it. He knew how to make it. He knew how to move it. So Epstein was useless to him.
And he told you this too, right? He told you this. He told you that I don't need people to make money. I make my own money. Why do you think he doesn't have to keep Elon around? Elon's got money, but Elon don't know money. Elon has money. He makes money by what he does. Managing money, Elon don't even own houses, bro. I bet you Elon don't got good credit. I will bet you money Elon doesn't have good credit. The man couch surfs everywhere. I highly doubt he knows how to, one, keep it or even facilitate its growth. I don't think he knows how. Smart, but smart in what? Not finances. He has money. People like Kanye have more intelligence and money than I bet you than Elon does. I'll bet you money on that one. And yes, I can say that Israel is indeed a protector of it by way of the amount of trafficking that happens there. I can tell you that. And this goes back all the way to, what was the time frame that we found? Was in the 80s? The height of it was in the 80s. They were trafficking, and I'm talking about millions. We're not talking about hundreds of thousands, millions of kids. The line went from Ukraine, outskirts of Russia, through Gaza, into Israel, and out. So yeah, we can indeed say that. Yes, it was facilitated there. But we talked about this long before people talked about it. In fact, you know what? Now I got to go and see when we talked about this, because now I'm curious. I am curious as all get out to see when it is that we spoke about this. Because I guarantee you money, it was long before Miss Owens was talking about stuff. How much money y'all
Israel and Gaza?
Yeah.
And the trafficking?
Let's find out.
Remember.
Let's see. When did we talk about that? So 23. Wasn't it part of the war conferences that we were talking about? Was there many wars that we were talking about?
I don't remember, man.
I think it was. I will find it. Because I remember us having that discussion and nobody wanted to hear it. Nobody wanted to hear it.
But they never want to hear it from guys like us and gals like us until you got a blue check next to your name. Us small podcasters, us social media influencers have been talking about a lot of this stuff for many years. So people don't pay attention unless it's a blue check. And then the blue check says it. Now everybody wants to talk about it. Oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. But the people that knew it was happening, look how calm we are when we're reading this stuff. Look how calm we're acting when we're seeing this stuff. The only people freaking out are the people that didn't believe it when we were talking about it years ago.
Let me see here. I knew it was before we got demonetized, and I wonder if we did it only on Rumble.
It could have been.
I bet you we probably only did it on Rumble. So
Especially if
I
we
gotta
was
find
talking
out.
about a certain country. I think we would only stick to Rumble at that time. You know, that
Okay,
country that likes to
conflict.
call us Goyams?
Yeah.
Yeah, those.
Let me see here. 4 years. I have to find it because I know I remember that conversation live here on this platform. I know I remember talking about it. And I'm 100% sure it was with you guys. You remember it though, right?
I remember talking about Israel.
But when we talked about it, anybody wanted to hear it.
No.
Anybody wanted to hear it. The fact of the matter is this: Epstein did what Epstein did because he had the backing of famous people and he knew how to make money move.
Right.
And he would take any and all takers, especially if it meant him being able to purchase the things he wanted, namely kids, and keep it quiet on the down low and get as many variations as he can. How long was Epstein Island available to people? Decades. Yet nobody said anything.
Mhm.
Celebrities would go there, they wouldn't say anything. Then they would get in front of the camera and talk about child trafficking. Right? They'll tell you
Yep.
all about it, but they've been doing the same thing behind closed doors. Ellen will build her whole thing in front of you saying, this is exactly what I've been to, and she'll show it to you, and no one would care.
And Epstein controlled two major things that most people care about: money and reputation.
Right.
So as long as he had control of those two things over all these celebrities, over all these politicians, they was never going to do anything about it.
For
He
sure.
controlled the finances, their finances. He knew everything about them, and he controlled their reputation.
Mm-hmm. That's some wild stuff, man. Like there are just some things that I don't think people are ready to admit to. Is that what you've been told? You should have believed it when they told it to you.
Yeah.
But you somehow still think that there is something, has to be something more. It can't be just that. When it's exactly just that, money and influence.
And the fact that it's hidden in such plain sight too. That's the part that gets me. It's like,
Yes,
it was so
right.
present and it was so there that they were doing this, and yet still, because of Trump, that people literally turn a blind eye to focus in on something that's a nothing burger.
Yep. And that's all they cared about, like we talked backstage.
Yeah.
They didn't care about anything else on that list. They didn't care about the other politicians. They didn't care about the celebrities. I'm not saying all people, but mainly the people on the left.
Yep.
They only search for Donald Trump. They bypass everybody else. Oh, there's Trump. Got him. He's a pedo. We don't care about anybody else.
Basically.
I think it was one of those the Savage Uncensored podcasts.
Okay. Then that was Rumble.
Yeah.
That had to be
Yeah.
2020.
It was before 22. I know that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because we were just in the first phases of it. It was either right at 22 or just before it. Because I'm looking back right now at stuff we've done. Okay, this might have been it. This might have been it here. The description says, and I think it was the walnut sauce conversation that we had. It was a Savage Patriots Uncensored.
Mm-hmm.
And this one was back in 2022. Yep. Yeah. That's how long ago we talked about this stuff, and no one was listening then.
Yep.
Don't look up walnut sauce, by the way, people. That'll mess with you all the way around. Don't do that. It's on YouTube. We have it on YouTube. Let me see if I can find the exact year and copy it and paste it here. Get shareable link, copied. Try and take a look and see if I'm wrong about it. Let me know. It'll be the one I talked about. It's when we each brought topics.
Yeah.
And we would each talk about. That's how we used to do it. It was one of those. And I remember now that it was me talking about that particular thing. So if you want to look at whenever we did the uncensored shows, If that one I put there isn't it, find all the uncensored shows or the free for all ones that we used to do. Look up the free for all ones. I remember the sequencing now. Look up the free for all ones. Who was blowing up my phone? And why? Why are they blowing up my phone? Okay. Yeah. So there you have it. The Trump mess. Nothing at all substantiated. A bunch of the ridiculous comments made by people calling in to say, way back in the day, I remember someone telling me about someone telling them. My friend of my cousin told me one time that they saw someone that might have looked like Epstein and Trump. I was drunk with my side piece at a hotel, and I think I might have saw a face of Trump flashed before my very eyes. I don't know if I was raped, but I also didn't go check.
6 degrees of Eugene Carroll type stuff.
I was 13 at a block party in New York with Epstein, and my 14-year-old friend was there too. I went to Epstein Island, but also became a teacher.
And they didn't like that I didn't support.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Support
Yeah, exactly.
Trump. So they put me on the phone with Trump and the FBI.
And cut.
Jeez.
I haven't heard from. Have you heard from Coy recently?
No.
No, we ain't heard from Coy. Still, I think we took him off the thread. But I'm gonna reach out to him and see how he's doing. The reason I looked older back then is because I was in a lot of pain back then. I'm in pain now, but I was in pain a lot back then. I had lots more to deal with back then. I've had a few fixing surgeries since that point. So, update March 5th. I think that's let me see what date that is.
Thursday, right?
It is a Thursday, so we won't have to worry about a bit missing, but I will be having surgery on the 5th. But that one won't put me out of commission, but the next surgery will be happening, I think, 3 weeks later. So I have a few incisions to go through here. All right. So it'll be these two guys figuring things out. All right, cool. I just want to update you. I'm ready to get myself fixed. Honestly, I'm tired of it. Sick and tired. Yeah. Sick and tired. Anyway, we'll be back come Monday. If the monkey business doesn't resurface or come about, we might have a conversation about that too. Otherwise, I think the more pressing issue right now is the RX thing that Trump just popped out with, the new healthcare thing that he's trying to do, that people are fighting against as usual.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Remember you said money. It's all about money.
All about money.
Yeah.
This will be number 8 for me.
Jeez.
It will be 8, and then the neck will be number 9. Yeah,
that's crazy.
I'm climbing that ladder, man. Eventually, I'm going to hit that golden number of 10. You know, see, Creole got me beat.
Oh,
I ain't trying
goodness.
to catch up now, mind you. I'm not trying to catch up with you, but
what is wrong with y'all?
15.
Y'all falling apart, people. Yeah, I don't want to catch up with you, Creole. Trust me, I feel for you, but I'm not trying to catch up. I'm not saying I won't. Mind you, I will be at 10 before next year because the lower back still has to get dealt with. So
Marlon's gonna look like RoboCop eventually.
Drop your weapons. Freeze, scumbag.
Am Marlon Brown. Welcome to the Savage Patriots.
Y'all need to take care of yourselves, I gotta say.
I am conservative. Conservative.
And MAGA.
Bro and me are like, he's short now. What do we do?
He's short now. Shut this camera off.
Turn them off.
I'll send you the Bluetooth code to shut everything down. Don't worry.
We'll program you from here.
Yeah.
And as I shut off, I'll be like, I'll be back. Shut off. Either way, we'll be back come Monday, and we'll have more discussions then. Mr. Lee.
Like, share, comment, subscribe, and we will see you on Monday. Peace.
Peace.